Have you noticed something strange about your legs lately? Maybe it's getting just a little harder to climb stairs. Maybe they feel heavier or a little weaker when you stand up after sitting. And maybe, just maybe, you've been telling yourself, well, that's just getting older, right? But what if I told you that might not be true? What if something you're eating, something you believe is healthy, is actually making the problem worse? And here's the twist. It's not junk food. It's not fast food. It's not some candy bar you sneak at night. It's something you probably think is good for you. You've been told this since you were a child. Doctors, nutritionists, TV ads. They've all said the same thing for decades. Eat more fruit. Sounds familiar, right? But here's the truth nobody is telling you, and it shocked me when I learned it. Not all fruits are safe for people over 60. In fact, some of them can quietly, gradually, and almost invisibly destroy your leg strength, and by the time you notice what's happening, it's already done damage. You may start to feel it when you walk shorter distances than you used to. You get cramps at night. Your knees ache. Your calves feel stiff after even a short stroll. You feel like your legs aren't yours anymore. If any of that sounds familiar, stay with me, because today I'm going to reveal 7 of the worst fruits for seniors to eat if you want to protect your mobility, your balance, and your freedom. And listen, I'm not saying all fruit is bad. Not at all. There are plenty of healthy, anti-inflammatory fruits that I'll share with you later in this video. But some very popular ones? They can cause blood sugar spikes. They can trigger inflammation in your joints. They can interfere with circulation. And all of that adds up to something very dangerous for your legs. You see, your legs rely on good blood flow to stay strong. They need healthy joints. They need stable blood sugar to keep the muscles fueled, not inflamed. But when these fruits go into your body, they can quietly erode that system, one meal at a time. And it's so subtle, most seniors never connect the dots. They think, oh, it's just aging. Oh, I'm just a little out of shape. Oh, maybe I need new shoes. But in reality, something you ate at breakfast, or in that smoothie, or in your fruit bowl may have tipped the scale. And here's the saddest part. The fruits I'm going to show you today are often the ones we've been told are the healthiest. I know that sounds crazy, but after you hear the science behind it, I promise you, you will never look at your fruit dish the same way again. So, before we dive in, do me a favor. If this message resonates with you already, if you want to protect your leg strength, type 1 in the comments below. If it doesn't, type 0. Either way, I want to hear from you. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a video that can help you stay strong, healthy, and independent. All right, are you ready? Because what I'm about to show you might just be the most important thing you learn this week. Maybe this year. Let's begin with the first fruit you should avoid. And I bet you've had it in your kitchen this month. Stay with me. This could change your life. Now, before we get to the list of the 7 worst fruits for your legs, there's something important you need to understand first. It's not your fault. It's not that you're eating wrong on purpose. You've been told all your life that fruit is healthy, and for many years it was. But here's what nobody talks about. As we age, our bodies change. I'm going to explain this in simple terms. When you were younger, say in your 20s or 30s, your metabolism was fast. Your blood vessels were flexible. Your circulation was strong. Your blood sugar was well regulated. Your joints had plenty of natural cushioning. So when you ate fruit, even sweet fruit, your body could handle it. Your system burned it off. Your blood sugar stayed balanced. Your muscles stayed nourished. Your joints didn't get irritated. But after the age of 60, that starts to shift, sometimes in ways you don't even notice right away. Here's what happens. First, your metabolism slows down. That means your body doesn't burn sugar as fast. Instead, excess sugar from sweet fruits lingers in your bloodstream longer, and that leads to inflammation. Second, circulation weakens. Blood vessels, especially in your legs, become more fragile and less elastic. So when blood sugar spikes, it can actually damage those tiny vessels that feed your leg muscles. Less blood flow means less oxygen and fewer nutrients to your legs, and that's a recipe for weakness and pain. Third, joint tissues become more sensitive. The cartilage in your knees, hips, and ankles thins out with age. Add to that a lifetime of wear and tear, plus the effects of acidic or inflammatory foods. And suddenly, those joints can become irritated very easily. Some fruits, as you'll soon see, can silently fuel that inflammation, making joints feel stiff, sore, and swollen. Fourth, your body's ability to process fructose, the natural sugar in fruit, gets weaker with age. When fructose isn't properly processed, it can turn into uric acid. And where does that uric acid like to settle? You guessed it, your joints. It builds up quietly until one day you feel that sharp pain in your toes, or that odd tightness in your calves after a simple walk. And finally, this is the kicker. Many seniors unknowingly eat too much fruit. Because it tastes light, it feels refreshing. It seems healthy. You might grab an extra slice of watermelon, a few more grapes, another banana, a second glass of orange juice. It adds up fast. But your older body isn't designed to handle large amounts of fruit sugar anymore. And here's the thing, the damage is silent at first. You won't feel it after one snack. You won't notice it after one smoothie. But day after day, week after week, those spikes in blood sugar, those little hits of acidity, those small uric acid deposits, they add up. Until one day you realize you're getting more tired after walking. Your knees ache when you stand. You feel sluggish or heavy in your legs. Your balance feels just a little more unsteady. And you wonder, what happened? Well, that's what this video is about to show you. Because once you understand which fruits can quietly cause this damage, and once you learn what to eat instead, you can start turning it around. You can protect your leg strength. You can reduce inflammation. You can feel lighter, stronger, and more stable again. So if you're with me so far, take a moment and type, "I'm ready," in the comments below. I want to know who's serious about protecting their leg strength today. And remember, hit subscribe if you haven't already, because the rest of this video could be the wake-up call your body's been waiting for. Now, let's talk about the first fruit on the list. It's one you probably think is anti-inflammatory, but for seniors, it can actually do the opposite. Let's begin. All right, let's get into it. And I want you to pay close attention, because this first fruit is one that surprises almost everyone. Pineapple. Yep, that bright, juicy, tropical fruit you see in salads, smoothies, and health articles everywhere. You've probably heard it's great for reducing inflammation. It's often praised for its enzyme called bromelain, which is said to help your joints and digestion. Sounds great, right? Well, here's the part nobody talks about. For people over 60, especially if you've noticed your legs feeling weaker, heavier, or stiffer, pineapple may actually be doing more harm than good. Let me explain why. First, pineapple is loaded with natural sugars, especially fructose and glucose. When you were younger, your body probably handled those sugars just fine. But remember what we just talked about. As you age, your metabolism slows down, and your blood vessels become more sensitive. So when you eat pineapple, those natural sugars hit your bloodstream fast. Blood sugar spikes, and that's a big problem for your legs. You see, the tiny blood vessels that feed your leg muscles are extremely sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations. When your blood sugar spikes, it damages those vessels. They become stiff, narrow, and less effective at delivering oxygen and nutrients to your muscles. The result? Leg fatigue, weakness, heaviness, Swelling after walking or standing, in other words, the very symptoms that so many seniors think are just aging. But that's not all. Pineapple is also very acidic. Its acid content can quietly irritate the tissues around your joints, especially if you already have some arthritis, stiffness, or wear and tear from years of use. Here's what many people report after eating pineapple: a dull ache in their knees, a burning sensation in their ankles, a tight, dragging feeling in their calves, increased swelling in the lower legs, and most of the time, they don't connect it to what they ate. They just think, "Oh, I must have overdone it today." But the reality is that slice of pineapple, that tropical smoothie, that fruit salad may have triggered the problem. And there's another hidden risk. If you take medications, especially blood thinners like warfarin, pineapple's bromelain can interact with them. It can either make the drug too strong or too weak, increasing your risk of bruising, bleeding, or circulation problems, all of which affect your legs. Now, here's what makes pineapple so tricky. It doesn't cause instant, obvious problems. You won't eat a bite and immediately feel pain. It's the cumulative effect that's dangerous. You eat it once, then again next week, then a few slices in a smoothie. Little by little, it contributes to blood vessel damage, joint irritation, and leg weakness. And by the time you notice that you can't climb stairs as easily, or that your calves are cramping more often, it's already done its work. Now, am I saying you should never touch pineapple again? Not necessarily. But if you've been struggling with unexplained leg pain, swelling, or weakness, it might be time to cut back. Give your body a chance to recover. And if you do eat pineapple, do it sparingly and watch how your body responds. Because remember, the goal here is not to fear food. It's to make smart choices that keep you strong and independent. And here's a simple truth. If a fruit that's praised for its anti-inflammatory benefits can have this effect on aging legs, what about the next fruit? It's soft. It's sweet. It's often called muscle-friendly. But for seniors, it may be draining your leg strength without you even knowing it. Stick with me. This one will surprise you. Let's move on. If pineapple surprised you, this next fruit might shock you even more, because it's probably one of the most trusted fruits for people trying to stay healthy. It's in every gym bag, every breakfast table, every "eat this for energy" list you'll find online. Bananas. Soft, sweet, easy to digest, and packed with potassium, right? We've all heard it. Eat a banana to avoid cramps. Bananas are great for muscles. And yes, they do contain potassium, which is important. But here's the part no one tells you. For people over 60, bananas can quietly cause the very problems you're trying to avoid. Let's break it down. First, bananas are high in natural sugar, especially glucose and fructose. Now, that sugar hits your bloodstream very quickly. Bananas are what nutritionists call high glycemic, meaning they spike your blood sugar fast. For a young person, that's not such a big deal. Their body can handle the spike. But for seniors, especially those with slower metabolism and more fragile blood vessels, this is a recipe for trouble. Here's what happens. You eat a banana. Blood sugar spikes quickly. Your body releases insulin to bring it down. But aging cells don't respond as well to insulin, so the blood sugar lingers longer than it should. And during that time, your circulation takes a hit. The small vessels that feed your legs, the ones that bring oxygen and nutrients to your calf muscles, your thighs, your feet, get damaged by those sugar spikes. Result? Heavier legs, fatigue when walking, calf cramps at night, that dull ache in your thighs or knees after meals. But it doesn't stop there. Bananas also cause many seniors to retain fluid, especially if you have heart issues or circulation problems already. That fluid retention leads to swollen ankles, stiff joints, extra pressure on your leg muscles. And guess what happens when your legs swell? They feel even heavier. Your balance gets thrown off, and that increases your risk of falls, one of the most dangerous things for seniors. Now, here's something I want you to remember. Bananas don't cause immediate pain. You might eat one and feel fine that day, but it's the slow, silent buildup that's dangerous. Week after week, day after day, that extra sugar and fluid retention gradually wear down your leg strength. And one day you wake up and think, "Wow, why do my legs feel so tired lately?" Or, "Why can't I walk as far without getting sore?" And if you've been eating bananas regularly, thinking they were helping your muscles, it could be time to reconsider. Now, am I saying you should never eat bananas again? No. But if you're already dealing with leg issues, cramps, heaviness, swelling, it's smart to limit them. And if you do eat them, pair them with protein or healthy fat to slow the sugar spike. Because here's the truth. At this stage in life, it's not about good or bad foods. It's about right foods for your body, right now. And here's the scary part. If bananas can do this, what about smaller fruits we think are completely harmless? The next one on the list is tiny, juicy, and loved by almost everyone. But it can secretly fuel joint pain and leg stiffness fast. Stay with me. You'll want to hear this. Now, this next fruit is going to catch even more people off guard. It's small, it's juicy, it's fun to snack on, and it's promoted everywhere as a heart-healthy choice. I'm talking about grapes. Red, green, black, doesn't matter. They're all delicious. They're all easy to grab and pop in your mouth by the handful. But here's the catch. For seniors, grapes can quietly become one of the worst things you can eat for your leg strength. And here's why. Grapes are packed with a type of sugar called fructose. And fructose is very tricky, especially as you get older. You see, unlike other sugars that get used by your muscles for energy, fructose goes straight to your liver. And when your liver can't process all that fructose, which becomes more likely as your metabolism slows down with age, it turns it into fat and uric acid. Now here's the part that affects your legs. That uric acid doesn't just stay in your liver. It travels through your bloodstream. And where does it like to settle? In your joints, especially in your toes, ankles, knees, all the places that affect your mobility. Have you ever woken up with a sharp pain in your big toe out of nowhere? Or noticed your ankles feel stiff when you first get up? Or felt a strange, almost burning sensation in your calves after a short walk? That could very well be uric acid crystals building up. And if you're snacking on grapes regularly, you could be fueling that process without even realizing it. But that's not all. Fructose also triggers chronic inflammation. And inflammation in your legs means stiff joints, swollen calves, that dull ache in your thighs when you're trying to enjoy a simple walk. And the sneaky part about grapes is how easy they are to overeat. They're small, they feel light. You don't think twice about grabbing another handful, and then another. Before you know it, you've eaten 2 or 3 cups worth, and that's a massive dose of sugar and fructose in one sitting. And remember, as we age, our bodies simply can't process that sugar load the way they used to. Our circulation is weaker, our blood sugar response is slower, our joints are more vulnerable. So what used to be an innocent snack when you were younger can now silently chip away at your leg strength day after day. What does that feel like? A dull ache in your legs after a short walk? That heavy leg feeling by mid-afternoon? ankle or calf swelling in the evening. And here's something else most people don't realize. Watermelon is so easy to overeat. You start with one slice. Then you have another. And another. Because it's light and refreshing, it tricks your body into thinking it's okay to keep eating. But every extra slice adds to that sugar spike. And the more spikes you have, the more damage occurs to your blood vessels and joints. Now, here's where it gets even worse. When blood sugar spikes repeatedly, your body responds with chronic inflammation. And inflammation loves to settle in places where circulation is already weak, like your legs. This leads to joint pain, tight calves, a strange stiffness in your knees, more difficulty climbing stairs or walking long distances. I can't tell you how many seniors I've spoken with who were baffled by their worsening leg symptoms. And it turned out they were eating large amounts of watermelon every week, all because they thought it was helping them stay hydrated. But here's the irony. The fluid retention triggered by blood sugar spikes can actually make you feel more swollen, especially in your lower legs. So instead of helping hydration, watermelon can leave you feeling puffier, heavier, and more uncomfortable. Now, does this mean you can never enjoy watermelon again? No, but portion control is key. And if you've been struggling with unexplained leg fatigue, swelling, or joint discomfort, try cutting back on watermelon for a few weeks and watch what happens. You might be amazed at how much lighter and stronger your legs can feel. But we're not done yet. If watermelon, something you thought was almost pure water, can do this, what about the next fruit? It's bright, it's zesty, it's packed with vitamin C, and it's in many seniors' daily routines. But it may be quietly fueling joint pain and leg stiffness. Stick with me. You need to hear this. Now this next one is a big surprise for most people, because we've all heard it for years. Drink your orange juice. Eat your oranges. Get your vitamin C. They're everywhere. Breakfast tables, juice bars, health articles, and yes, vitamin C is important. But what nobody talks about is this. Oranges can quietly sabotage your leg health, especially if you're over 60. Let me explain. Oranges are very acidic, and for younger people with strong digestion and flexible joints, that's not usually a problem. But for older adults, when your joints are already more vulnerable, when circulation isn't as strong, when your cartilage is thinner, that acid can be a big issue. Here's what happens. The citric acid in oranges doesn't just stay in your stomach. It enters your bloodstream and can irritate the delicate tissues around your joints. If you've already got low-grade inflammation, which many seniors do, that acid acts like fuel on the fire. And the result? Stiff knees in the morning, persistent hip discomfort, a strange dull ache in your legs after sitting too long, more swelling and stiffness after eating. And here's the trickiest part. It's so easy to overlook the connection. You drink a glass of orange juice in the morning, you feel a little stiff later. You think, it must just be getting older. But day after day, that acid is adding to your body's inflammatory load, and your legs pay the price. Now let's talk about the sugar in oranges, because this is a double hit. Even though oranges are natural, they still contain fructose and glucose, sugars that spike your blood sugar. And as we've already discussed, blood sugar spikes damage circulation, especially in the legs. When those small vessels get inflamed or restricted, your muscles don't get the oxygen they need. Result: fatigue when walking, that heavy leg feeling after meals, increased risk of cramps or spasms. And here's something else to consider. Orange juice, which many people think is healthy, is one of the worst offenders. Why? Because it concentrates the sugar and removes the fiber. So instead of eating an orange slowly, you're drinking a massive dose of sugar all at once, and your blood sugar responds accordingly. I've seen so many seniors unknowingly worsen their leg symptoms by starting each day with a big glass of orange juice. They think they're helping their immune system, but they're quietly stressing their circulation and joints instead. Now, am I saying you can never eat oranges again? No, but if you're dealing with stiff, aching legs, persistent swelling, increased joint discomfort, you might want to cut back and see how your body responds. And if you do have an orange, pair it with some healthy fat or protein to slow the sugar spike. And be very careful with orange juice. It's often the biggest culprit. Here's the bigger takeaway. Just because something is healthy for younger people doesn't mean it's the best choice for aging legs. You have to eat smart for where your body is today, not where it was 30 years ago. And if oranges, a fruit so commonly praised, can cause this much trouble, wait until you hear about the next one. It looks fresh. It looks crisp. It seems like the healthier apple, but it hides an acid that can cause leg cramps, joint pain, and nighttime discomfort. Stick with me. You'll want to know about this one. Now, this next fruit might really catch you by surprise, because it looks like the smart choice. When most people pick apples, they think green apples must be healthier. They taste less sweet. They're lower in sugar, right? And yes, green apples do have a more tart flavor and slightly lower sugar than red apples. But here's the part nobody talks about. For seniors, green apples can quietly contribute to leg pain, cramps, and joint discomfort. Let me explain. First, green apples are very high in something called malic acid. It's the natural compound that gives them that sharp, tangy flavor. Now, for young, healthy bodies, malic acid isn't usually a problem. In fact, it can even help with energy production in small amounts. But as we age, something changes. Our gut lining becomes more sensitive, our joint tissues become more fragile, and our circulation isn't as efficient. So when you eat foods high in malic acid, like green apples, here's what can happen. That acid gets absorbed into your bloodstream, and instead of helping, it can quietly irritate your joints and tissues, especially if you already have low-grade inflammation. Many seniors report this pattern. They eat green apples regularly. They start noticing tight knees or achy hips. They feel a weird warmth or tingling in their feet, or they wake up at night with leg cramps they can't explain. And most of the time, they never connect it back to the fruit they thought was safe. But the malic acid builds up over time. And as it does, it can slowly worsen joint sensitivity and contribute to that feeling of tired, stiff legs. Now, that's only part of the story. Green apples also contain natural sugars, even though they don't taste as sweet as red apples. And remember, at this stage of life, every sugar spike matters. Each time your blood sugar rises too fast, it puts stress on your circulation, especially in the legs. And weaker blood flow to your leg muscles means more fatigue, increased cramps, heaviness after walking. And here's something else I want you to think about. Most people eat green apples raw, often on an empty stomach or as a snack between meals. That means the sugar and acid hit your system fast, with no buffer. And if you snack on them late in the day, like in the evening, that acid can linger in your system and contribute to nighttime leg cramps and restless legs while you sleep. I can't tell you how many seniors I've spoken with who were eating green apples as their safe fruit, only to discover that cutting back helped them feel less stiff in the morning, lighter on their feet, more comfortable climbing stairs. Now, am I saying green apples are evil? Of course not. But if you're already dealing with tight hips or knees, mysterious foot tingling, increased leg cramps, you may want to experiment. Cut back on green apples for a few weeks and see how your body responds. Because here's the truth. When it comes to aging, sometimes it's the foods you trust the most that cause the most subtle harm. And if green apples can do this much damage quietly, wait until you hear about the next fruit. It's tropical. It's soft. It's sweet, almost like candy. But it delivers a sugar punch so powerful it can rapidly trigger joint pain, leg swelling, and muscle fatigue. Stick with me. You'll want to hear this one. You've probably heard mangoes being called the king of fruits. They're sweet, juicy, tropical, and, for many, a nostalgic summertime favorite. But there's something they're not telling you. Behind that bright orange flesh lies one of the highest sugar contents of any fruit you can eat. In fact, just one medium-sized mango packs more sugar than a can of soda. Yes, you heard that right. That sweetness doesn't come without a cost, especially after the age of 60. See, when you bite into a mango, your body reacts quickly. The sugar rushes into your bloodstream, triggering a massive insulin spike. Your pancreas has to work overtime, pumping out insulin to handle the sugar load. And over time, that constant insulin surge starts to wear down your system. But here's the part most people don't realize. That spike doesn't just affect your blood sugar. It also wreaks havoc on your legs. How? That sugar fuels inflammation, particularly in your joints and soft tissues. This can lead to swelling in the knees, ankles, and even the small joints in your feet. And that inflammation, it can quietly erode your leg strength, making it harder to walk, stand, or stay active for long periods. Many seniors report a burning sensation in their toes or a strange tingling after eating mangoes, especially in the evening. And yet, they don't connect the dots. They blame aging or poor circulation, or maybe even the weather. But the real culprit? It might just be sitting in your fruit bowl. Mangoes are also very easy to overeat. You think, just one more slice, but that slice turns into the whole fruit. And by then, you've consumed a sugar load that slows down your metabolism, triggers fat storage, and silently weakens muscle tone over time. Now, does this mean you can never eat a mango again? Not necessarily. But if you're over 60 and struggling with heavy legs, stiff knees, or unexplained swelling in your lower body, this fruit might not be your friend anymore. If you do eat mango, treat it like a dessert. Have just a few bites and pair it with healthy fats or protein to slow the sugar absorption. Your legs will thank you. Okay, now that you know which fruits to avoid, let's shift gears. Because this video isn't just about taking away your favorites. It's about empowering you with smarter options, the ones that actually support your leg strength, mobility, and circulation. So here are 5 fruits that are senior-friendly, low in sugar, and packed with anti-inflammatory benefits. First up, berries. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. These little gems are nutritional powerhouses. They're low in sugar, high in fiber, and rich in anthocyanins, compounds that reduce oxidative stress and fight inflammation. Just a small handful a day can boost circulation and support vascular health in the legs. Plus, they taste amazing with a bowl of oatmeal or on top of plain yogurt. Next, avocados. Now, technically a fruit, and one of the best you can eat, avocados are loaded with healthy fats, magnesium, and potassium, all critical for muscle function and joint flexibility. Unlike sugary fruits, they don't spike your blood sugar, and they actually support healthy hormone levels, which helps maintain lean leg muscle. A little avocado toast or some sliced avocado in your salad? Smart move. Third, cherries. Cherries, especially tart cherries, are known for lowering uric acid in the body. That's huge for seniors who deal with gout, joint pain, or stiffness in the ankles. They're a natural anti-inflammatory, and in small amounts, they can help you move easier, especially first thing in the morning. But moderation is key. Too many can still raise blood sugar. Think of them as a treat, not a snack bowl filler. Fourth, pears. They're juicy, satisfying, and don't spike your glucose the way tropical fruits do. Plus, they contain pectin, a type of fiber that supports healthy digestion and helps maintain steady energy levels throughout the day. When energy levels are stable, you're less likely to feel that afternoon leg fatigue that sneaks up around 2 or 3 p.m. And finally, papaya. Papaya is an unsung hero for seniors. It's easy to digest, rich in digestive enzymes like papain, and gentle on the stomach. It also contains vitamin C and beta-carotene, both of which are crucial for connective tissue repair in your legs and joints. So instead of grabbing that sugary mango or citrus bomb, reach for some fresh papaya slices. Your joints will feel less stiff, and you'll notice the difference in how you move. Remember, it's not about avoiding all fruit. It's about choosing the ones that work with your body, not against it. And the right fruits? They don't just taste great. They help you stay independent and strong. Let's bring it all together. If you've been feeling heavier in the legs, weaker when climbing stairs, or more prone to swelling and stiffness, it might not just be getting older. It could be your fruit choices. Some fruits, while delicious, are loaded with sugar and hidden acids that silently sabotage your leg strength, worsen inflammation, and even increase the risk of falls. But now you know better. You've learned what to avoid, like mangoes, bananas, and grapes, and what to embrace, like berries, avocado, and papaya. And that one simple change, it can make a massive difference, because your legs aren't just for walking. They're your foundation, your freedom, and in many ways, they're your lifeline to independence. The great news? It's not too late to reclaim your strength. So here's what you can do next. Start today by swapping out just one sugary fruit for one anti-inflammatory option. Make it a habit. Stick with it for a week. Notice how your legs feel, how you sleep, how you move. You might be surprised. Before you go, I'd love to know, which fruit on this list surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this helped you or a loved one, give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another health tip. Your legs and your future self will thank you.